नमोऽस्तुते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्रे एकत्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां योगिनं विश्वनाथाख्यम् अस्मत्तातः स्वरूपिणम् आत्मलाभात् परं लाभं वक्तारं गीतार्थग्रन्थकर्तारं श्रीगुरुं प्रणमाम्यहं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मे वाचं धृतिं बुद्धिं प्रचोदयात् जन्माद्यस्य यतोन्मयादितरतश्चात्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो वृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मप्रोञ्जितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तुशिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं वैवाजनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि ॐ नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमः। We have been doing Bhagavatam for the past 3 sessions. Just to recall, today we are going to do what is called Kapilopadesha. We are doing Kapilopakhyana. Kapila Vasudeva is an avatar of the Lord, and Kapila is teaching his mother Devahuti. Devahuti and Kardama are the first married couple from which the entire generation, the entire population of the world sprang up. So Kardama and Devahuti were the first married couple. Devahuti was the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu was the first created being, created in the sense by his own willpower, Brahma's willpower, he was created. And actually Brahma's body broke itself into two, one a male and the other the female, Swayambhuva and Shatarupa. This couple, their daughters, Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, 3 daughters and 2 sons, Priyamvrata and Uttanapada. We are talking of Devahuti now. Devahuti was given in marriage to a great Rishi Kardama, who is a kind of one who lived even in the earlier Kalpa. Brahma's day, each day begins with the creation, but each day continues what was there in the previous. From the previous day to the next day, certain rishis survive in the latent state and then they come to life again at the beginning of the day. So like that, Kardama Prajapati, he is called Kardama Prajapati. Prajapati means the Lord of the entire world. So there were 9 Prajapatis created at the beginning of this day. This Kardama Prajapati and Ruchi Prajapati and a few more have been there from the earlier Kalpa. Kardama and Devahuti were married in the most ritualistic way. That was the first ritualistic marriage ever performed on this day of Brahma. And Devahuti and Kardama had 9 daughters and 1 son. These 9 daughters we are going to pursue later with all the different Prajapatis and their descendants. That we will do later. Right now, the Kapila is teaching Devahuti. Kapila, because he is the avatar of the Lord, and Devahuti says, "Now, O Lord, Lord, he is a 5-year-old boy, so to say. Kapila is only a 5-year-old. After the Upanayanam, the son, the father himself prostrated before him, namely the Kardama Prajapati himself prostrated before him and went to the forest to do tapas. So Devahuti is teaching, Kapila is teaching Devahuti, and that is called Kapilopakhyam, Kapilopadesha. This contains the full entire Vedanta. So we are going to spend all day today on the teaching of Kapila. I have given you a 2-page document, table of contents for Kapila Gita. This contains 8 chapters. Yeah, 8 chapters, total of 360 shlokas. It is almost like the Gita. Almost all the things that are said in the Gita come here, but in with a different emphasis. You will see that. I may not be covering all of them. As you can see, it is so much. So within 1 hour, we will do some important shlokas. But you can always go back to any one particular thing, because I have separated them into topics and given you the shlokas here. So you can, if you want to read more of it, you can go to the particular reference, because it is very difficult to search in the Bhagavatam book. By the way, what I am having here is Bhagavatam and his translation by Swami Tapasyananda. This is the best translation that I have seen. I have recommended this to you. You can use that. Now, the questions are the natural questions. Oh Lord, the mother is addressing her son. She knows that the son is the avatar of the Lord. He is a 5-year-old boy. He is teaching. This is the first Vedanta teaching that was handed down to posterity, so to say, and that has been recorded in Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam, as you know, is the one that is narrated by Shuka Brahma Maharishi to Parikshit, King Parikshit. The circumstances I am not describing today. Shuka is narrating to Parikshit, and during the conversation, during the narration, he quotes very often Maitreya Rishi, who is conversing with Vidura, Dhritarashtra's brother. So Vidura Maitreya Samvadam, that is exactly where we are now. So Vidura Maitreya Samvadam, Maitreya is telling all this, and this is being narrated by Shuka, and that is being narrated by Shaunaka, Suta to Shaunaka in later times, almost at the beginning of the Kali age. So all these things are there. So now Devahuti asks Kapila the natural questions. Where from is this world? What is the purpose of creation? How was the Lord? How was creation done? What is the purpose of all these things? All these questions, natural questions that any of us ask, these questions Devahuti asks, and Kapila says, yes, I will teach you the entire thing. Everything that you have to know, I will tell you. And he starts from the rock bottom. Yoga adhyatmika pumsam mato nishreyasaya me atyanto paracharyatra dukkhaya cha sukhasya cha. What is man's problem? Pain and pleasure. Pain and pleasure are the problems of man. Pleasure is not a problem. He doesn't know that pleasure also is a problem. He knows that only pain is the problem. But actually pleasure also is a problem. That is what these teachers, great seers tell us. Not only pain is your problem, but the pleasure also is a problem. Because you are excited at your pleasure, and that takes you back to further pain. Because you know the sukha dukkha, they simply alternate. You never know which portion is sukha, which portion is dukkha. Sukha, happiness, dukkha is misery or sorrow. Happiness and misery, happiness and sorrow, they alternate. You think for a moment you are happy, but the next moment something happens, something pricks. That is enough to change the attitude of the mind. So the mind keeps on changing from sukha, dukkha, sukha, dukkha, sukha, dukkha, dukkha, sukha. You don't know in what combinations. Like the DNA business, the sukha, dukkha simply goes on. There are 4 things there are only 2 things. Sukha, dukkha, sukha, dukkha, etc. And it goes on. You never know. And the fundamental question is there some way of having only sukha, only happiness, irreversible happiness, irreversible abeyance of this pain and pleasure. When with that yoga adhyatmika pumsam mato nishreyasa yame atyanta uparataviyatra atyanta uparatihi, permanent stoppage, permanent aram, permanent abeyance of pain and pleasure, dukkasya cha sukhasya cha. I will tell you that yoga adhyatmika pumsam, the adhyatmika yoga, that Vedanta, that I will tell you. Tamimam te pravakshyami yamavocham puranadhe. What I told long ago to great rishis, what I told. This 5-year boy is talking. What I told long ago. Remember in the Gita also in the 4th chapter, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan ahamobhyayam vivaswan manave praga manurikshva kave bravit. I told this to Vivaswan. Vivaswan is the sun god. And Vivaswan told it to his son Ikshvaku. And Ikshvaku told the other kings. And that is how it came. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. That is how by parampara, by generation to generation, it has come, says the Lord in the 4th shloka. Same thing he says here. Yamavocham puranake. I told this long ago to the rishis. So that I am telling you again. So what is the rock bottom? Bottom line, as Americans call it. What is the bottom line? The bottom line is mind is the cause of all bondage. Mind is the cause of all bondage, and mind is the cause of all liberation. Chetak kalvasya bandhaya. Remember, Bhagavatam generally is full of philosophical material. This particular portion which we are doing today, every shloka is full of philosophical material. You cannot skip even a shloka, but we can't do that. You see, as you can see, there are 360 shlokas of today's content. So we will keep skipping. I have marked the most important shlokas which I thought I understand. Because you see, every shloka is important and every shloka is significant. Every shloka you have to study for at least 10 or 15 minutes in order to properly understand it. So we will spend some time on these things, but I will keep skipping. Chetak kalvasya bandhaya, chetak kalu asya bandhaya. Bandhaya for bondage, chetak kalu, mind indeed is the cause. Chetak kalvasya bandhaya, muktaye chatmano vadam. The same mind is also the cause for liberation. The same mind is also the cause for liberation. Muktaye chatmano matam guneshu sattam bandhaya ratam va pumsi muktaye. How can you say that mind is the cause for bondage and mind also is the cause for liberation? Yeah, it depends upon what the mind does. You see, because everything is dependent on the mind. If the mind is going to be interested in the gunas, if the mind is going to be attached to the gunas, attached to the guna. Guna means all matter, all characteristics of matter. That is guna. So, guneshu sattam bandhaya, if it is attached, satta means attached. If it is attached to all the worldly, mundane pursuits, guneshu sattam bandhaya, that is bondage. Ratam va pumsi muktaye. Ratam pumsi. Pumsi in the Purusha, in the Purushottama. Ratam, if it is takes delight and attraction in that Purusha, in the Absolute, that is liberation, muktaye. That one shloka summarizes the entire Vedanta, so to say. Like that you can interpret every shloka, particularly in this kind of Vakhyana. Chetak kalvasya bandhaya muktaye chatmano matam guneshu sattam bandhaya ratam va pumsi muktaye. So, that is the bottom. And so he explains it in the next few shlokas. Aham mama abhimanoptaihi kamalobha dibhirharaihi. Aham mama, I and mine. Aham mama, aham mama. These are the in the 25th chapter. So I am in shloka 14, 17 like this. So aham mama abhimanoptaihi, aham mama ityabhimana, I and mine, the feeling of I, the feeling of mine, from that arises aham mama abhimanoptaihi kama lobha dibhirmalaihi. Kama lobha adibhihi malai, kama and lobha, lust and greed. So they arise from the concept of I and mine. Aham mamo bhimanottaihi kama lobha malai, mala. You know the meaning of mala, faces. Mala, fault, default, defect. Mala, they have mala. We always want to stay away from mala. But kama lobha is also a mala. We have to stay away from them. Kama lobha malaihi. They arise from the thought of aham and mama. Vitam yada manashuddham. If you are rid of these malaihi, if you are rid of these faults, kama and lobha, manashuddham, adukham asukam samam. Adukham, no misery, asukam, no pleasure. Samam, there will be an equanimity of that. Aham mama bhimanottaihi kamalova divir malaihi vitam yada manashuddham adukham asukam samam. But the I and mind concept is very difficult. It is innate in us. How are we supposed to get rid of them? How are we supposed to overcome them? Only by satsanga. Satsanga. Prasangamajaram pasham atmanak kavayo vidu sayeva sadhushu kruto mokshadvaram apavritam. You see, he goes quickly, he teaches the mother who wants the Vedantic knowledge from her little son, who is the Lord himself. So he caters to his audience, so to say, and he teaches in such a so-called element. It's not elementary, but it is as if it looks as if it is elementary, it looks as if it is simple, but the entire Vedanta is there. Prasanga ajaram pasham. Prasanga, the good sangha, ajaram pasham. Pasha means rope. Kail, pasha. So, pasha is also attachment. Two meanings. So, there is a pun on the word here. That is, attachment is very bad. This is what great people say. Atmana kavayo viduhu. Kavaya means great people or scholars. They say that. Attachment is bad. But the same attachment, if it is made to good people, noble people, towards noble people, sayeva sadhushu kruto, sayeva, that attachment itself, if it is towards the noble sadhus, sadhu people, sayeva sadhushu kruto, mokshadvaram apavritam, that will take you to moksha. Here the word pasha and ajara are used. Ajara means, jara denotes old age. This is shloka number 20, if anybody is looking at the text. Shloka number 20, chapter 25. Ajara, jara means old age, jara. Ajara means not old, right? Pasham atmana kavayo viduhu. The rope gets old. When it gets old, when it gets used, it becomes worn out. Pasha. So the ordinary rope, which is another word for attachment, pasha means rope attachment. So you look at the rope, the more you use it, it gets worn out. But when it is looked at as attachment, the more you use it, the more you get attached. It becomes more intense. It becomes heavier. Old age does not do anything to it. Old age makes you more attached. You see the idea? The more we are attached to some person, the more we become attached. The more intensely we become attached. But on the other hand, the more we use a rope, it will get worn out. So it becomes old age, and then it will disappear also. But pasha, attachment, is not like that. The more you are attached, the more intensely you are bound by that. So prasanga vajaram pasham atmana kavayo viduhu. So you say, turn that attachment towards good people, noble people, sadhus, sat sangha, sayeva sadhusha kruto mokshadvaram apavatam. You see here, there are many shlokas on which you can talk quite a lot, but that is the interesting part of this. What actually happens by this sangha? What actually happens by this sadhu sangha? Beautiful things happen. Shraddhavaratir bhakti ramukramishyati. satam prasangat mama virya samvido bhavanti karna sarsayana kata tajjoshanat ashvapava tajjoshanat ashvapavargavatmani shraddharati bhaktiranukramishyati. By satsanga, Shraddha, Ratihi, Bhakti, it will come in that order. First Shraddha, the faith in things that are spiritual. Rati, a delight in discussing these spiritual things, a delight in the glories of the Lord, a delight in talking about the Lord, a delight in doing bhajans and worship to Him. But then only Bhakti. Bhakti ranukramishyati, Shraddharati Bhakti ranukramishyati. Devadhuti intervenes and asks, what is Bhakti? What is Bhakti? What is the Bhakti you are talking about? I know Bhakti is devotion, but you seem to be talking of Bhakti in such superlative terms. What is Bhakti? And there is a definition of Bhakti. Right? He defines the most superior Bhakti, motiveless Bhakti. See, you and I do Bhakti to go to the Lord Ganesha at the corner of the street. I am talking of an Indian atmosphere. At the corner of the street and say, today I should get my bus at the correct time. Today my boss should not scold me. Today my wife should be happy with me. Today I should get what I want. Maybe today I should get my promotion. These are the kinds of things. Or my daughter should get married. This is a very legitimate prayer, no doubt about it. My daughter should get married at the proper place with a good husband, things like that. This is a very legitimate thing. This is all right to do. So long as you pray to God, it's okay. Unless, the error comes only when you pray such things to another human person like you. Instead of that, you pray to the Lord who is capable of doing everything. But that is all what we do. The Lord says, come on, go ahead. Let me see what else you want. But we don't go beyond. We don't want from Him, give me moksha. How many of us have gone to the Lord and says, oh Lord, please give me moksha. Please give me wisdom. You haven't said that. It's very difficult. Think carefully. This is the problem. So he says, motiveless bhakti, even that you should not have. Motiveless bhakti, he defines. Devanam gunalinganam anushravika karmanam sattva yevaika manaso vritti swabhaviki tuya animitta bhagavati bhakti siddher gariyasi. Animitta bhagavati bhakti. Animitta. Nimitta means reason, cause. Animitta, causeless, motiveless. Motiveless bhakti. Animitta bhagavati bhakti siddher gariyasi. Siddhi is moksha. Bhakti is superior to moksha. You see, why is Bhagavatam called a Bhakti Grantha? Because of this. But actually it teaches you Advaita Bhakti. In Bhakti, in that one absolute Nirguna Bhakti, is going to talk about it. So, the motiveless Bhakti, what is it actually? It is Swabhaviki Vrittihi. It is a natural inclination of the senses. Devanam Gunalinganam. Gunalinganam. Guna is the gunas of the world. What indicates these gunas? It is our senses. So, and these are deities of the senses. Anushravika karmana. We do a lot of spiritual activities. We go to the temple, we worship, we do homa, we do yajna, we do japa, we do many things. These are all anushravika karmana. Ritual or Vedic activities. All these actions which are enjoined by the Vedas and the propitiation of the deities of the senses, all this, if you have an undivided mind, eka manasaha sattva eva, if all these are transformed or placed to that purely sattvic Lord, sattva evaika manasaha vrittihi, swabhaviki vrittihi, the natural inclination. So the natural inclination of senses, which are usually attracted by Laukik activities, if this natural inclination goes towards that Lord, that is a natural inclination, then that is called motiveless bhakti. And that what will it do? Jaraya tyashu yasho yokosham nigirna manalo yata. the gastric fire inside dissolves the food eaten. Nigirna manaloyata. Like that, this bhakti, kosham, ashu, jarayati. Kosha is all the outer covering. Our covering, there is annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, that. All this covering, not only of the intellectual covering, ignorance, covering of ignorance, all that will be demolished, vanquished by jarayati. They will be dissolved, jarayati, like the gastric fire dissolving whatever food is placed into the stomach. Devanam gunalinganam anushravika karmanam sattvayevaika manaso vritti swabhaviki tuya. Natural inclination has to come. Swabhaviki vrittihi. Animikta bhagavati bhakti siddher gariyasi jarayatyashuya kosham nidhi irna manalo yata. You know, Narayaniyam is a work composed by Bhattatri of about 1400 shlokas, condensing the entire 18,000 shlokas of Bhagavatam. And it is in difficult Sanskrit, but beautiful Sanskrit. There are several places where he extols Bhakti. Here is one. Bhaktir utpatti vriddhi tavakarnajusham sangamena pumsam asadye punyabhajam shriyajiva jagati srimatam sangamena satsango deva bhuyam mamakalu sadatam tanmuka umishadbhi. So he goes on. Bhaktir utpatti vriddhi. The bhakti, once you start it, it will grow, it will grow. On whom should you have, how will it grow? By satsanga. Satsanga with whom? With those people who are full of that. See, when we want wealth, when we want money, when we want power, when we want position, whom do we go to? We go to those people who have all this. Power, money, pleasure, status. Charana jusham sangamena iva pumsam asadye punyabhajam shreya iva jagatam srimatam sangamena. When you want wealth, you go to a Shriman, a great wealthy man. You go to him and ask him, tell him, why don't you help me do this? Because you are very influential. So when we want influence, position and money, we go to the people who have that. So also, when you want spiritual wealth, where should you go to? To those people who have the spiritual wealth. Satsanga. This is the content of that shloka. And Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada, you know, has written a beautiful treatise called Narada Bhakti Sutra. In small sutra aphorisms has done. And he says, Kantavarodha romanjivit parasparam lavamanaha pavayanti kulani prithivimche. Once you are in that satsanga, once you are in the sangha of the noble people, thus you see that the horripilation, you see, romanchana, the romancha that comes out of the listening, out of the participation in the glories of the Lord, in the stories that these satsanga people are able to share with you, that itself will not only purify you, it will purify the entire race. Pavayanti kulani prativinche. It will purify this entire world. So bhakti has been extolled by all these, and the Kapila emphasizes that throughout here. And he says here, 38th shloka. Yeah. Yeshamaham priyatma sudashta sakadurus sugruto daivamishtam nakshanti no me nimisho lediheti. For whom aham priyaha, if I am, for those who consider me as the nearest and dearest, yesham aham priyaha, atma, I am their soul. Those who consider me as their soul, those who consider me as their son, Sutasya, Sakha as their companion, Guruhu as their teacher, Suhradaha as their friend, Daivamishtam as their favorite god. For such people, Nakshantino me nimisho ledi heti. The time, you know, Kala is the great moving aspect. Time. Time is the one which takes everything. Time is the one which has the influence on everybody. It has no mercy. It will always act. It will carry away everything to the past. So, it is called unwinking time. It never stops. Animisha. Animisha means unwinking time. For them, the weapon of that unwinking time will not act. They will come to my Vaikuntha, to my Loka, and the weapon of the unwinking time, Animisho lady, Animisho heti na lady. Shloka number 38 there. This Yeshamakam Priyatma Sudrashte Saka Guru Suldodaiva Mishtam. You may remember in the Gita, in the 9th chapter, Gatit Bharta Prabhusakshi Nivasa Saranam Jagrate Prabhava Prayasthanam Nijanam Bijam Abhyam. The Lord Himself declares in the 9th chapter of the Gita, Gatit Bharta, the same. That is, wherever you saw, whatever Vedanta Grantha, whatever scripture you take, they will always say the same thing. So if you keep on listening to repeated Vedanta lectures or repeated scriptural lectures, you will feel as if there is a kind of repetition by not only the same man, but by different people also. Same thing. Because that is the only thing which is said everywhere. And why do we repeat, why do we have to listen to all these repeated sayings of the same thing? Even then it does not go here. That is a problem. You see, when the time comes, when the final call comes, at that time, we are not able to remember this. We have several other things to remember. That is the problem. Therefore, that is why they repeatedly they say this, and so this repetition is worthwhile. This Nivasa, you see this Yeshamaham, he is the son, you are my son, I am your, he says, for whom I am the Atma, I am the son, I am the companion, I am the Guru, he says that. Nivasa, I am the refuge. Nivasa Vriksha Sadhunam, says Vali to Rama, and he comes in the Valmiki Ramayana. He says Nivasa Vriksha Sadhunam. He is the final refuge, the tree of refuge, Nivasa Vriksha Sadhunam, for all the sadhus. And so he says, I will protect them all the time. For whom? Who gives up the desire for not only the physical body, but for the subtle body also. Imam lokam tathaivamam atmanam ubhayayinam atmanam anuyekehe yeraya pasavo bruhoha. You have to give up the desire for this world and the other world. This world in the sense, all the wealth, all the possessions, all these things, that desire. And all the other world means even a Swarga Loka desire for all those things. Well, in the next chapter he starts some more deeper things, Purusha and Prakriti. Without that, no Vedanta lecture, no Vedanta teaching will get completed. The Purusha is the absolute, chapter number 26. The Purusha is the absolute, Anadi Atma Purusha, Nirguna Prakriti Paraha. Prakriti is the one which is the agent of all the activities here. Prakriti is only the guna collection, all the guna collection, you know, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the three things. Sayesha Prakritim Sukshmam Daivim Gunamayim Vibhu. Once upon a time, at the beginning of creation, how did creation start? The Purusha, the Purushottama, the Purusha, that is the person absolute, ticked off, started, began, pressed the button, so to say, for Prakriti. At that time, time begins. T with capital T. Time with capital T. Time begins. Sayeva Prakritim Sukshmam Daivim Gunamayim Vibhu Yadrichayayvopakatam Abhyapaddata Leelaya. As if it is a Leela. Why did he do it? Nobody knows. Nobody knows the reason. Hinduism is very clear about it. Hinduism perhaps is the only religion which accepts that I don't know the purpose of creation. Great people will say it is a Leela. But that is only a secondary reason. It is only they are told to people who will be satisfied with that answer. But the real answer is nobody knows. Nobody knows is the answer given by the Vedas, given by the scriptures to the purpose of creation. Leelaya yadrichayayvopakatam. Just like that. Yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means accidentally. Just like that. Without any reason. That is the reason. Right? Accidentally. But when you say accidentally, it looks like Big Bang happening. Accidentally something happened and then everything happened like accident. So Yadrichaya has two meanings. In the ordinary level, it means accidentally, just like that. But in the absolute esoteric level, it means by the will of the absolute. Yataha ichaya. Yataha ichaya. By the will of the absolute. By the will of the absolute, time started. Prakriti started. Creation started. Right? And then he describes how the 24 tattvas emanate from Prakriti. Mahat tattva, the complete unmanifest. Mahat. And then Ahankar. From Mahat, Ahankar, the cosmic ego. And from that, the Pancha Tanmatra, Sabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, Pancha Tanmatra. And from that, the Mahabhuta, the Pancha, 5 elements, Akasha, air, fire, water, earth, right? Pancha Mahabhuta. And then from that, Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, the individual Ahankara. Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, ego. And then the Pancha Jnanendriya, and then the Pancha Karmendriya, the Pancha Karmendriya. So this is 24 if you count. That is Pancha Tanmatra, then Pancha Bhutani, 10, 4 Manas Buddhi Chitta Ahankara, so 14, and then the other 10 as Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya. So 24. These are the 24 fundamental tattvas. And then he says, Kalah Panchavimshakaha. Kalaha Panchavimshakaha. Time is the 25th. And then he says in a later shloka, Kala is nothing but me. I am the Kala. Gita also says, Kaloyam. Kaloham, it says, isn't it? Right? I am the Kala. You know, in the Mahabharata also, in the TV serial, they always showed you time talking. But the Lord doing that. You see, in our ordinary conversation, also in the movies, also in any conversation, novels, fiction, everywhere, when a man is in trouble, either somebody else says or he himself says to himself, well, it's the work of time. That time is not the ordinary T-I-M-E, but capital T. That capital T-I-M-E is nothing but Bhagavan. It is the Lord's. See, those of us who believe in the Lord, those of us who believe in the Lord's will, we say it's the work of the Lord. But those of us who want to be very scientific, you will say it's work of time. And even that, if you don't believe, in this country they will say, my luck. This luck business, this work of Kala, time, God's will, they are all the same. So, it's only a question of your way of saying it. But all of them believe this. Whether you believe it or not. All of them believe this. So, time. So, Kala Panchavimshakaha. And he says, this is Brahmanaha Sagunasya Sanniveshaha. There is a Nirguna Brahman and a Saguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman is the attributeless Brahman. Saguna Brahman is the Brahman with attributes, the personal God. The other one is impersonal. These are the manifestations of this personal God. Saguna Brahman. Brahmanas is there. Shloka number 15. Etavaneva sankhyato brahmanas sagunasya sannivesho maya prokto yakkara panchavimshaka. Well, there's a lot of detail about Srishti. I'll just say a few words because it is very technical and it may be a little dry also. From Mahat comes Ahankara. It's all there. So I'm only saying what is right here. Ahankara, the cosmic Ahankara, cosmic ego, which is because of the Kriya Shakti of the Lord, is of 3 types: Vaikarika, Taijasa, Tamasa. Vaikarika Ahankara, it is dominated by Sattva. Taijasa Ahankara, dominated by Rajas. Tamasa Ahankara, dominated by Tamas. From the Sattva Ahankara, Manas comes. From the Rajasa Ahankara, the Dashendriya, Jnanendriya 5 and Karmendriya 5, they come. Mahabhuta, the elements come from the Tamasa Ahankara. This is the Srishti Krama before man was created. Before man was created. Right. Kartrutvam karanatvam cha karyatvam cheti lakshanam shantaghora vimudhatvam iti vasyadaham krite. This cosmic ego, cosmic ahankara, here is a technical explanation of the characteristics of the cosmic ahankara. Very technical, don't expect me to tell you everything about it, but see, kartrutvam, agency, karanatvam, instrumentality, karanatvam, karyatvam, the objectification, right? Agency, instrumentality, objectification, kartrutvam, karanatvam, karyatvam, cheti lakshanam. These are the characteristics of the cosmic ahankara. Shantaghora vimudhatvam itiva. Alternately, he says, Shantaghora vimudhatvam. Shanta, ghora, vimudha. Shanta means peace, ghora means vibration, turbulence. Vimudha means ignorance, tamasa. Shanta, because of the sattvic. Ghora, that is the vibration, turbulence, etc., because of the rajasa ahankara, and vimudha, ignorance, dullness, stupidity, complete absence of any action, that is because of the tamasa ahankara. The jiva, what is jiva? Jiva is nothing but when the Purusha identifies with the Prakriti, that is the jiva. Purusha identifying with Prakriti. In Purusha by itself has no action. When it is associated with Prakriti, that becomes the jiva. It experiences agency because of the sattvic ahankara. It feels identity with senses because of the rajas ahankara, because of the vibration, because of the tejas ahankara. And it feels identity with the body because of the tamas ahankara, because of ignorance, vimudhatva. These things are very in detail, shloka by shloka. He explains that to his mother, Devahuti. And then he says the creation from Shabda, Tamasa Ahankara, Shabda comes first, sound. Then Akasha, the space. Then Sparsha, the touch. Then the Vayu, the air. Then Rupa. All these things are there in Atma Bodha. This is the soul, so to say. Rupa, that is the form. Then Agni, fire. Then Rasa, taste. Then Jala, water. Then Gandha, that is the smell. Then Prithvi, the earth. This is the Srishti Krama. So, in all this, in chapter 27, he says, Purusha is unaffected. Prakatistopi Purusho, Najyate Prakrite Gunai, Avikara Dakartratva, Nirgunatva, Jala Kavate. Purusha is unaffected by Prakriti. Now and then they introduce an analogy, a metaphor. It's very interesting. And it is full, our Vedanta is full of such examples. Jala, easily, in the Sanskrit shloka, it occupies only a little space, but it is so full of content. Jala Kavate, Nirgunatva, Jala Kavate, Nirgunatva, it has no attributes. Jala Kavate, Jala Arka. Jala is water, Arka is sun. The sun in water, the reflection of the sun in water. Does it have any characteristics? The Purusha in the Prakriti, in the Jala, is the Jala Kavati. So the Purusha, when he is reflecting through our consciousness, becomes the Jiva, and therefore it has all the characteristics are of just that kind of appearance only. It is not real. It is unreal from the absolute point of view. Jala Kavati. Therefore the Purusha is unaffected. And the sense of identification, again another analogy, another simile. The sense of identification, artehya vidyamane pe samsmritir nani vartate. Sir, I feel the pain, I feel the hurt, I feel pain and pleasure. This I, why do you feel the I, fear, pain and pleasure? Because of the identification with what feels the pleasure. It is the body that feels the pleasure, it is the body that feels the pain, but I do not feel the pain. I should not. Because I think I am the body, I am feeling the pleasure, I am feeling the pain. If you are really not the body, so you should not feel the pleasure Sir, I don't understand. I don't understand. What happens in a dream? What happens in a dream? We feel everything. Everything is there. We have pleasure, we have pain, we have horror, we have accident, we have shock, we have everything. But really there is nothing. And especially you know that it does not affect you after you are woken up. It does not affect you. Of course, some people it affects for a little time. But again, that is part of the dream. Forget it. Once you come out of the dream, it does not affect you at all. He says, Swapne anarthagamo yatha. Just a little word, just see. Swapne anarthagamo yatha. Swapne, in the dream, anartha, unhappiness, agama, the coming of unhappiness in the dream. Like that, the Purusha is not affected by any of the actions of the Prakriti. Dhyayato vishayanasya swapne anarthagamo yatha. In the dream, we think that we are experiencing everything. But you are really not experiencing anything. That's it. That's what it is. So the pleasure, the pain that you are experiencing here, you are really not experiencing it. This is your Advaita. That's all. That one shloka is enough. Artehya vidyamanopi samsmritirna nivartate. Really there is no substance in that unreal thing, in the dream. Here also there is nothing. So Gaudapada's Karika, entire Mandukya Upanishad is summarized here. Artehya vidyamanopi, shloka number 4, chapter 27. Artehya vidyamanepi samsmritirna nivartate dhyayato vishayanasya swapne anarthagamo yata. So how do I come to such kind of conviction that it is like this? Immediately he wrote in the next sloka, therefore, Bhakti yogena tivrena viraktya chanayet vasham. Unless you resort to Bhakti yoga, you will not feel this. You have Bhakti yoga. Only by the grace of God, the Advaita knowledge will come. Not by listening to Vedanta lectures, not by reading more and more books, not by scholarly interpretations of everything. No, only by Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yogena tivrena viraktya chanayet vasham. The intellect is not keeping quiet. Intellect is always asked this question, and he anticipates the question and he answers it. Intellect says, you say Prakriti, Purusha is not affected by Prakriti. The inside person, he is not affected by Prakriti. That means I am not there. Then this I has to be sacrificed. I has to be dissolved in that absolute. Then there is no more I. Sir, no more I. What is all this? I am not there. No, I don't like it. You see the point? You see, the I itself gets dissolved. What is this? And he says, Nashteham karane drashta nashta vitta iva turaha. Nashte ahankarane. This is sloka number 15 of chapter 27. Nashte ahankarane drashta. When the ahankara, the ego, I sense, when that is lost, you think that everything is lost. Hey, have you ever lost your money? When you have lost your money, you still remain, you are not upset. Of course you are upset. But then you say, I can earn the money. I am here. I am not lost. Nashta vitta iva turaha. Just as a depressed man, a man is depressed by losing his money, you have only lost your money. You have only lost your ego. Let the ego go. You are not the ego. You are not your money. You see the point? You see the point? You are not your money. You have lost your money. Why should you be upset? Your money is lost. You are not lost. Your ego is lost. You are not lost. It's a beautiful simile. Nashteham karane drashta nashta vitta iva turaha. Therefore, when I say, you see the point?
Kala.
Kapilopachyani is such an interesting thing. It goes on. Now Devahuti asks, my dear son, when you said Purusha and Prakriti, Purusha lives in the Prakriti and enjoys what the Prakriti. See, in the 8th chapter of 13th chapter of the Gita, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi. Right? Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi. And it goes on. Some eight shlokas are there. It discusses this. Purusha Prakritisto Ye Bhunte Prakritijan Gunane. So the Purusha lives in the Prakriti and enjoys the enjoyments that is coming from the Guna. That is what it says. So Purusha and Prakriti are so irrevocably intertwined. Devahuti is asking. That intertwining, how can you say that? How can you disassociate the Prakriti and say only Purusha? They are so much intertwined. Anyonyashraya, she uses the word. Anyonyashraya. What is that? Shloka number 17 of 27. Shloka number 17 of 27. Yes. Purusham Prakriti Brahman Naviman Chatikar Khijit. This Purusha will never leave the Prakriti because this Prakriti is part of him. So, Anyonya Pashrayatva, Prakriti cannot act without the Purusha. Purusha cannot express itself without the Prakriti. This Anyonya Pashraya, this mutual interdependence, how can it ever be broken by us? The question Devahuti is asking. And of course, he says, when you wake up from the dream, you have thrown away the dream, all the dream effects. So wake up from the dream, awake, arise. Vivekananda. Awake, arise. That is what it says. Yatahya pratibuddhasya praswapo bhakvanartharute sayeva pratibuddhasya navai mohaya kalpate. During the dream, you were yourself having all the pains and all the pleasures that were in the dream. The same you, when you are woken up from the dream, you are now free from all those pains and pleasures. So wake up from this eternal dream. It looks as if there is no other, it is not an explanation, but there is no other explanation. There is no other explanation. That is the explanation. You have to wake up to realize the real truth. What is the method? So he goes through the methods, chapter 28. Meditation. Meditation, elaborately describes. Chapter 6 of the Gita describes that, and he goes through all that. So he starts by saying the fundamentals: Ahimsa, Satyam, Asteyam, Yavadartha Parigraha, Yavadartha Parigraha. That is, for your living, whatever is necessary, go and seek money, wealth, not beyond that. Brahmacharyam, Tapaha, Shaucham, Swadhyaya, Purusharchanam, worship of the Lord. Maunam, Sada, Asana Jaya, Asana Japaha, Jayaha, Sairyam, Pranajaya, Shanaihi, and so on. It goes. Pranayama Dehed Doshane. Pranayama destroys the bodily defects. Dharana destroys the sinful tendencies. Pratyahara destroys the going after the senses, sense objects. Dhyana destroys the anishwaran guna, the unspiritual tendencies. Anishwaran guna, dhyana. So like that. So meditate. And on what should we meditate? He describes the Lord beautifully in certain slokas. Without translating it to you, I will read it slowly, you will understand. He is describing the Lord with all his characteristics. Prasannavadanam bhojam padma garbha runekshanam nilotpala dalashyamam shankachakra gadadharam lasat pankaja kinjalka pita kausheya vasasam Srivatsavakshasam rajate kaustubha mukta kandharam lattadvire prakalaya paritam vanamanaya, and so on. Kanchi gunolla sachronim. So he describes the Lord. Tamatbhutam balakamam bhujekshanam chatubhujam shankajadat yudayudam Srivatsavaksham galashobi kaustubam pitambaram sandrapayodasovagam Maharga vailudya kirita kundala Susha Parishvakta Sagasrakuntalam Uddhama Kanchangadakankayadibihi Virajamanam Vasudeva Aikshata. Vasudeva and Devaki sees the Lord in the Chaturbhuja form, in the child form, right there in the prison when he was going to be born. Before that he gives them a beautiful darshan, that shloka. Or in Narayaniyam, Guruvayurapam, he described Suryaspadikirita kundalamida, and so on. It goes. There's a lot of elaborate description there. Keyurangala Kanottamir, Vanamala, and all those Kaustuva and all those things. That is beautifully described there. So, like that, you can meditate, and he says, Stitam Vrajantam Asinam. You may meditate on him as if he is standing, Stitam. Vrajantam, as if he is going. Asinam, as if he is sitting. Shayanam va, lying. Sri Ranganatha, Padmanabha, whatever. Shayanam va, Guhashayam. The Lord is inside, but you can meditate on him as standing, sitting, walking, sleeping. Dhyayet devam samagrangam. Yavan na chavate maha. How long are we to meditate? So long as your mind does not waver. Yavan na chavate manaha. Yavan na chavate manaha. Till that time, as your mind does not waver from that form, meditate on that. And he describes the meditation on each of the angas. Lots of shlokas here. That is it. So, this 37 of chapter 29, the meditation, that final stage he describes, that stage of a Jivan Mukta state he describes, where you are not conscious of your body, you are not conscious of anything that is happening in the extraneous world, and he gives an analogy as usual, which is almost on the border of vulgarity. Vaso yata parikritam madiramadanda. Why in such a scriptural literature an analogy should be given like that? But that is the best description. A man goes to a drinking place. He drinks. He drinks to the full. He is totally out of control. He has lost control of his body. People take him along, and then he is laid somewhere. He is not even conscious of the fact that his clothes have slipped away from him. He is not conscious of it. Till that stage of realization, you should go. That's what it says. Vaso yatha parikritam madiramadamdaha. Vaso yatha parikritam madiramadamdaha. I am just reading the actual translation here. This is total number 37. As a man inebriated with wine pays no mind to his wearing cloth. Vaso yatha, vasa means dress, cloth. Parikritam madira madhandaha, inebriated with wine. That analogy that is given. And Devahuti naturally asks, you said Bhakti is the most important thing, and but tell me more about details about the Bhakti. So he characterizes different forms of Bhakti in the next chapter, chapter number 29. Next chapter, he classifies Bhakti 3 ways: Adhama Bhakti, Madhyama Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. Adhama, Madhyama, Uttama. Right? Actually he does it. Tamasa Bhakti, Rajasa Bhakti, Sattvika Bhakti. In the Tamasa Bhakti, he says there are 3 kinds. That Bhakti which is motivated by violence is Adhama Tamasa Bhakti. You see, you have an enemy and you want to kill him and you go to the Lord to get that done. You see it in the movies. This is Adhama Tamasa Bhakti. People do bhakti for ostentatious purposes, show. This is Madhyama Tamasa Bhakti. In the Tamasa Bhakti, there is an Adhama, Madhyama, Uttama. So in the Tamasa Bhakti, because of ostentation, if that is the motivation, that is Madhyama Tamasa. The next, a little above, but still Tamasa Bhakti, that is Uttama Tamasa Bhakti, is jealousy. Right? That man has got the money. He seems to be worshipping Sai Baba, so I am going to do this. Sai Baba, give me the money as much as you gave me. Or first of all, don't give it to him, I give it to me. There are people. Right? So, jealousy. Abhisandaya yohimsam dambam matsaryameva samrambi vivunadrike bhavamayi kuryat satamasaha. This is tamasa bhakti. Now come to rajasa bhakti, a little higher. You do bhakti for worldly enjoyment. That is, among the rajasa bhakti, it is the lowest. Adhama rajasa bhakti. You do bhakti for aishwarya, wealth. That is madhyama rajasa bhakti. You do bhakti for motivated by a desire for fame. I should become famous. I should be spoken of as the greatest bhakta in the world. Like that. Fame, yashas. That is uttama rajasa bhakti. Among the rajasa bhakti, 3 kinds. Then he comes to sattvika bhakti. So we are coming to that. Karma nirhara. I have to be liberated from bondage of karma. All this karma, I should not be attached to them. I should get away from that. That is among the sattvika bhakti, highest bhakti, the lowest. Among the sattvika, that is the adhama sattvika bhakti. Then parasmin tadarpanam. I am offering everything to the Lord. I am giving to the Lord. I am decorating Him. I am doing puja to Him. So that is madhyama sattvika bhakti. The highest sattvika bhakti is yade yashtavyamiti va. I have to do it. This is my duty. Bhakti is my duty. That is the uttama sattvika bhakti. So there are 9 forms of bhakti. Remember, later Prahlada is going to tell you, I am going to talk about it when I come to that in the 7th skanda. He goes to talk 9 expressions of bhakti. So 9 forms of bhakti, 9 expressions of bhakti, cross it, you will get 81 different forms and expressions of bhakti. You will get all that. It will be very interesting to do some research on that. Over and above all this is the nirguna bhakti. He defines it. Lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya gridhagritam agaitukya vyavahita ya bhakti purushottame. In the Gita, arto jignasurartharti jnani cha bharatarshabha. In the 7th adhyaya, artaha jignasu artharti jnani tesham jnani nityayuktaha eka bhaktir vishishyate aham sacha mama priyaha. So that bhakti is the nirguna bhakti without any motivation. Ahaitukya vyavahita. Without any motivation, that bhakti is the thing. And he says, you see, Bhagavatam is such a scripture where you can find authority for all kinds of viewpoints. So if somebody wants to criticize idol worship, you have got beautiful shlokas here. Because Kapila says, those who worship idols and images are doing nothing. This is like, what is it called? Kurute archa vidambanam tamavajnanaya mammartyaha bhutatma avasthidasaha santamatma ishwaram. That is, offering in, you see, when the fire is fully aflame, you offer homa, you offer a samit, you offer ghee. But offering ghee in bhasma, in the fire which has extinguished, if you offer ghee, what's the use? It is like that, he says. I am not able to get this shloka here. There is worshipping idols and images. He is like offering ghee to a fire where there is no flame, no fire. But you have got that shloka. So you have got enough shlokas for DMK here. But 25, immediately after that he says, but you have to do that. This day, those fellows will not agree at that point. You have to do that. Archadau archayet tavate ishwaram mam swakarma kriti yavannaveda swakriti. In the earlier shloka he said, those who do not realize that the God is here, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hridyeshe dripati. Those who do not realize that the God is here, by doing worship to the idols and images, they are doing offering ghee to a flameless fire. But until you get that feeling of that Ishvara residing here, till then you have to do that. Yavada archada archa vachayeda Ishwaram mam swakarmagrati yavannaveda swagridi sarvabhute shvavastitam. Shloka number 25 in the same set of shlokas. So it's all thoroughly analyzed. And 30. In 30, the destiny of the sinful is the heading he has given here. Destiny. That is poppies. Those who do sins, those who are sinners, where do they go? So Naraka, all the other things are described here. But before that, he is describing how we ordinary people get embroiled, engrossed, intoxicated with worldly affairs. We keep earning, we keep running about, we take care of the family, we have to work for that, we have to get up in the morning. It's all elaborately described, as if he has seen it. And then he describes old age. You see? And then he describes old age. In the old age, how much he suffers, how much the other people disregard him. He is asking for a little affection, even that affection does not come. He is not even cared of. Nobody asks him whether he has eaten or not. Nobody asks him whether he wants anything. He is coughing with phlegm and things like that, but nobody brings a cup for him to throw away the phlegm. These things he describes. So when you read it, it will be very pathetic. Traditional expositors make great issue of this, and they will tell you so beautifully that you will weep. By reading it, you begin to weep like that. And then in the next, it's all teaching to Devahuti. In the next chapter 31, the cycle of births and deaths. He describes birth, he describes death. Remember, these are the two great events in man's life. Jiva. Jiva, after all that sinning in the previous life, it has to take birth. When it takes birth, now some people have to do some research here. He describes month after month how the fetus develops. Right? How the fetus develops. In the description of the old age people suffering in old age, he uses a word, Keenasha iva gojaram. Keenasha iva gojaram. That is, heartless farmers treat their animals, cows, which have stopped milking. Right? Drought animals. How they treat them. Like that the old people are treated. That is what you are going to be there. Heenasha iva gojaram. It's a very difficult word, very powerful word. So we come to the birth. The 1-day-old fetus is called Kalala. It's all here. The 5-day-old is called Burbuda. The 10-day-old fetus is called Karkura. 1 month, at the end of the month, the head comes. At the end of 2 months, doctors are there here, or people who know, they should check these things with scientific details, but all the details are here. In 2 months, rudiments of arms and legs. In 3 months, nails, hair, bones, skin and genital openings. In 4 months, the dhatus, like flesh, blood, etc. In the 5th month, hunger and thirst. In the 6th month, placenta comes. The movements felt on the right side of the mother's womb. From the 7th, the fetus becomes conscious. And in the 8th month, it prays to the Lord. Oh Lord, I have come to this stage, to this living in a womb, amidst filth and dirt, and with all the discomfort of living in the womb. Never more should you give this. I will be a good man hereafter. Once I come out, I will worship you. I will always think of you. I will not do anything else. I will keep you always in my memory. The slokas are very beautiful slokas. But the moment he comes out of the womb, because of the way he is pushed out, that fetus forgets everything. And then, in due time, gets embroiled in the worldly mundane. These are graphic descriptions. You should read it and enjoy it. Okay, and then he described death. How the linga sharira loses the body. Death is nothing but the linga sharira, the sukshma sharira, loses the body. Earlier the linga sharira takes a body. It has done it in the birth. Now it loses the body. That is all. Purusha clothed in linga sharira is called jiva. When he is not clothed in linga sharira, he is no more there. And so he says in the 32nd chapter, he comes to a conclusion. He winds up. Tasmat tvam sarvabhavena Bhajasva Parameshtinam, chapter 32, Shloka 22. Tasmatvam sarvabhavena, therefore, by all means, Parameshtinam Bhajasva, worship him. Tadgunashrayaya bhaktya bhajaniya padambujam vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yoga prayojita janayatyashu vairajyam yanam yad brahma darshanam. By worshipping him, you will get vairagya, you will get jnana. This jnana you will get. Right? And I have told you now, pravocham bhakti yogasya swarupam te chatubhidam. I have told you 4 types of bhakti. Sakama bhakti, Nishkama bhakti, Saguna bhakti, Nirguna bhakti. Sakama bhakti is bhakti with desires. Adhama, Rajasa, Tamasa, like that. Nishkama bhakti without any motive. Saguna bhakti, bhakti of the personal form. Nirguna bhakti, bhakti of the impersonal form. Right? I have told you. I have also told you about time. Kalasya cha avyakta gatehe. Kalaha, time, and the avyakta gati, how the prakriti manifests itself. I have told you everything. Therefore, remember this and reach your destination. And Devahuti praises him with a hymn. Tam tvamaham brahma param pumam samratyak srotasya atmani samvibhavyam swatejasa adosta guna pravagam vande vishnum kapilam veda garbham vande vishnum kapilam veda garbham. I make my pranam, my prostration to you, Kapila Mahadeva, Kapila Vasudeva. The mother makes the Ashtanga pranam to the child, and she goes and does her tapas. Her tapas is described, and then she attains her moksha. That place where she did the tapas is called Siddhapada, Siddhashrama. That is the place in Ramayana. Rama is taken by Vishwamitra to a place where he did the yaga. That is called Siddhashrama. That Siddhashrama is the place where Devahuti attained her beatitude. And that Siddhashrama is again another importance. Later there is going to be Vamana Avatar. Bhagavan appeared as Vamana. It is in that place. Bhagavan Vamana Avatar, he appeared. Siddhashrama. Tadviyata tadvirasit punyatamam kshetram trailokya vishrutam namna siddhapadam yatra sasam siddhim upeyushi. So with that, we complete the Kapila Upakhyana. As I told you, there are lots and lots of things which have to be studied here in detail, taught, meditated, thought upon, nididhyasana. We have to understand shloka by shloka. It's a very interesting reader. That is why I have given you the complete table of contents. Whatever part you want, you may want to read the birth part, you may want to read the death part, you may want to read the old age part. For everything I have given you the reference. You can read that instead of searching here and there, and read different translations by Prabhupada or by Tapasyananda or anybody else. It will be worthy task. With that, let me conclude. Swastir prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena madhyena mahim mahishoha go brahmanebhya shubhamasta nityam lokas samastas sukhino bhavantu. As usual, we have 15 minutes of questions. Pratyahara. Pratyahara. Asana. Pranayama. You see? Pratyahara comes as the 6th or 7th. Pratyahara is withdrawal from the sense objects. We have to take our indriyas from its outside attractions and concentrate on the inner attraction, the Purusha. Pratyahara. Reversal. Reversal. It means reversal. Bring it back. Bring it back. And the Gita says, Yato yato nischarati manashtam chalamaftiram tatas tato niyamyaitate. That is pratyahara. Every time as we meditate, it goes. It does not stay there. It goes about. It goes anywhere. It goes even to London. It goes far away. It goes to the it goes to all rubbish things. You have to bring it back. Yato yato nischarati manashtam chalamaftiram. The chanchala manas, the asthira manas, the vibrating manas, the infirm manas, that has to be brought back. Then and there, every time. This is pratyahara.
Okay,
Yes. Murali.
There was one thing that caught my eye in your notes here. I wanted to understand it.
you could expound a little bit on that. In the chapter 31 part, where you say the failure of the jiva to learn by experience, is there any particular explanation that is offered which says, I had always thought that eventually it's a function of time where the experiences of life will quick you towards this particular path. Is there some other perspective that is given?
I see. The question is, the experience that teaches the jiva, what does it say? He describes all the miseries of life. That is all what he does. In these shlokas 22 to 31, when one is in illness, when one is in youth, when one is nourished by people who do not understand his needs, all the Laukik difficulties are described. This is experience. And therefore one has to learn that all these things come and go. Agamapayinaha, anitya, the absolute thing is there. That one. That is the jiva does not learn even after that. That is all it is.
The name of the yoga that using which you can permanently avoid the pain, what did you call the name of the yoga?
There is no name for that yoga. Yoga, Adhyatmika
yoga.
Adhyatmika yoga. Vedanta yoga.
That's called Vedanta.
Adhyatmika yoga. That is yoga which is aimed, pertaining to the Adhyatma.
Okay.
Pertaining to the soul, Atma.
Okay. And then the English translation for Kartritvam, Karanatvam, I couldn't write it down.
Kartritvam, Karanatvam and
Karyatvam.
Karyatvam.
Karyatvam is objectified.
This is what? No, it has to come in Prakriti Purusha, right? Yes. Yes. Kartritvam, the sense of agency.
Agents.
Karanatva is Karanatva is instrumentality. Karyatva is objectivity. These are the three characteristics of Ahankara. This is shloka number 26 of chapter 26.
About time. Can you say something about time and the relativistic concept of time? Is there any connection between the Vedantic?
The relativistic concept of time, if I know it right, I ought to know, I am a mathematician. If the relativistic concept of time has something to do with what we observe, right? What we observe. But any observation where there is a subject and an object, the subject is the one who observes, the object is the one which is observed, the subject and object duality is there. So long as there is this duality, the relativistic theories will apply. But in Advaita, where there is no dualistic concept, the Advaita, there is no question of any relativistic concept. So time is not relative in Advaita, because time itself is only a creation of the Absolute. So there is only the Absolute. There is only the Absolute truth. There is no time.
So time is created by Prakriti then?
Time is created by?
Or time is Purusha, isn't it?
Time is Purusha in that sense. Because when he wants it, he can say time stop. When he does not want it, the word want is a bad word. Because want means desire, desire means object, desire means what is there to attain. Nave parthasya kartavyam. So they are very difficult to. That is why there is only one absolute truth. There is nothing else. When the moment you ask for something else, we come to the level of duality. When you come to the level of duality, all your science applies. I don't think I have explained what you want me to explain, but I don't think I can do better.
Actually, what you said about time is related to Prakriti. Purusha was there, and at time zero, Prakriti started. All the relativity constant in physics is
That starts
at time zero.
At time zero.
It goes on until entropy reaches.
Yeah, but we are talking about before time zero,
There's no
which is absurd. The very statement is absurd.
So in this action, it matches with physics. With Prakriti, when creation started, is when time zero, and in physics, it explains that time goes on until entropy reaches maximum. So that matches correct.
Okay.
Have made calculations that they show that this is when time started.
What did you say?
Same thing, adding to what we said about physics.
Yeah.
We have now Stephen Hawking's lines of time, right? So that actually extrapolated backwards, and we have a chart at home that kind of says from this point on time started.
Yeah.
So that is it's not easy to grasp that concept, but even scientifically there is a point in the creation where they say this is start of time. Before this there was no time, and then timeline started. So basically when there's no creation, then there's nothing. So we are talking about absolutes.
Before creation, there was no time. Simply means everything was latent in the absolute, just as all the to be created things, and time itself was there. So the moment the latentness disappears by the will of the Lord, time starts and creation starts. How he takes care of that, God knows.
God knows.
He is not supposed to have any watch because there is no time.
But if time is created as part of Prakriti, what kind of gunas does it have?
That is why they never say time is created. The scriptures also don't say time is created. It is a fundamental principle latent in the absolute, and it starts by the will of the Lord. So it is as if there is a watch which has been stopped and it has only been started. Something like that. The clock ticks. So there is an unticking clock. We are treading on dangerous grounds. We don't know anything. We are talking.
It's correspond with the Big Bang.
Yeah, that is also equally dangerous ground.
I just wanted to, the Narayanium that you mentioned, which was basically a succinct form of Bhagavatam. You said the author of that, and when was that author?
Bhattattri.
Bhattattri. And when was that?
1587. I think around that. I mean, I might have. It's 1-5 and then some. It's 16th century.
And the other, Narada Muni is...
Narada Muni is starting from this creation.
No. I meant the treatise that you mentioned.
Narada Bhakti Sutra. There is a set of aphorisms. I think there are about 200 of them or 150 of them. Narada Bhakti Sutra. It's a very interesting work.
Are those typically available?
Yeah. Chinmayananda has written a whole book on Narada Bhakti Sutra, English available. There are other people who have translated it, commented. Narada Bhakti Sutra is a very familiar, famous book. You will get it in Ramakrishna Mission, Chaitanya Mission, everywhere. Very well. Narada Bhakti Sutra. And you cannot understand it except with a commentary.
What is the best translation for Prakriti?
What is the best translation for Prakriti? These are some of the untranslatable words as per Vivekananda's thing. Prakriti, Atman, these are untranslatable. Maya, these are all untranslatable words.
I mean, is that the reflected consciousness?
Prakriti, you can say nature with a capital N, cosmic nature, cosmic quality, everything will be wrong. Okay? Thanks a lot. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha go brahmanebhyah shubhamascha nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu.